What's up, fellas? Midwest Native. Huge shout out to Rack and Chrissy Coyle doing the playground politics. It's nice to finally have some cultured people doing a podcast talking about not just shoes, but a bunch of different things and everything in the industry. It's nice to have another New Balance nut like myself and Christian and Rack. You've always been one of my biggest muses, teaching me along the way how to be better. I appreciate everything, both of you. Keep doing your thing. Keep supporting.
Thanks for that message, guys. You can use the Anchor app to leave us a message that we will also incorporate into the show 3 weeks in a row. Episode 3 of Playground Politics.
The politicians are in the building.
There are very few things in life, maybe 10, that I've done 3 times in a row.
Oh my God, I barely even wake up 3 times a week.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Shout out to everyone who's been supporting the first 2 episodes. Episode 1 still climbing. Episode 2 doing very, very well. Some rewatchability, I suspect, since both of them are going well. If you're tuning into us for the very first time, there's 2 other episodes. That means only 3 hours of content to catch up on, and we hope that you'll do that. Shout out to everybody who's following along using Apple Podcasts at the moment, our largest platform. Coyle, how about that?
Oh, okay. Shout out to Apple. Okay, kid, I see you.
I got to be honest, I thought it would be the video content, but the video is about 1/3 of the plays that we're getting on Apple, followed by Spotify, followed by Anchor, then Google Podcast, and then the smaller guys. We are everywhere that you can find a podcast, plus YouTube.
Yeah, you can find us all over the place.
So however you want to consume, thanks to those of you who have left reviews on Apple Podcasts, that's hugely beneficial for the show that we have those 5 stars. And then I've noticed that the content of those reviews have been well thought and well written. So I want to let you guys know that I saw them, that I appreciate them. That I've shown COYLE here.
Awesome.
And we really appreciate it. Continue to do that on whatever platform that you are consuming the product. The best thing that you could do is share it from that platform, hit the thumbs up or the equivalent 5 stars, and leave us a comment and or review if you're using the podcast platforms. We appreciate you. That COYLE, to start, I want to give a big congratulations to my friend of the show, brother in arms, Joe LaPuma. Joey has won a Webby Award for sneaker shopping. Well deserved. Great show.
I love that he won that too.
Dude, I'm gathering it's a rather big deal for web content. And I'm really happy that he won. In particular, he beat Lady Gaga, who was kind of playing. I don't want to say that she specifically was playing dirty, but some of the fan sites were, we'll give away autographs, we'll give away free music,
we'll
like to try to. That's a big audience.
Fall back, Lady Gaga.
That's a big audience to beat, especially with them being so proactively encouraging. Yeah. So I'm very happy that Joe was able to Joe and crew were able to beat those seemingly huge odds and win in such a big way. That's a show that I've had the privilege, and I mean it when I say privilege, to work on a couple episodes, 2 episodes.
So it's not easy.
It's not easy, and it's several cameramen, it's sound, it's a photographer, there is a director, obviously the travel, the equipment, the editing. Those intros lately have been getting crazy.
Not only that, but working with the people, imagine how late some of these people must have been. Like they might have been waiting around 4 hours for some of these people in these shops just sitting there.
Right. Amazing.
Good job.
We're very, very proud of that, and we look forward to more sneaker shopping. Keep killing it, Joe. For whatever the additional acclaim of us 2 assholes is worth.
Yes.
Keep it up, bro.
We know you're waiting for us to chime in.
We know that now you feel validated.
You're okay now.
I've also seen Endgame as of yesterday. It's happened. There's not much I could say about it.
So at the very end,
I will spoil nothing except to say they nailed it. It's like a fine gymnastics routine. You only watch gymnastics during the Olympics. Everybody is guilty of that. It's not a sport that you, I think, generally follow, but the amazement of the choreography and the technique, it's similar. Okay. It's amazingly choreographed. It's executed with extreme precision, and it absolutely nails the landing. Go see it. That's all I want to say about it for now. We'll get into it several episodes from now, maybe.
And I know exactly what happened at the end because I opened my Christmas presents the week before.
He was like, no, dude, like, seriously, just tell me.
Like, dude, just get out of the way, bro. Because, look, I can't stick my head in the sand for the next week because I work a lot. I'm not going to be able to go peel that real quick. So, like, I'm going to be scared to see what happens. Like, just get it over with, dude. Rip the tape off right now. One foul swoop. Like, and now I can go on with my life.
This episode is going to be a little bit different than the episodes that have preceded it because COYLE made an interesting point in our show notes.
We're going in.
He was like, yo, this is kind of a new audience. They're listening to these two Philadelphian jerk-offs.
Yep.
Who are these guys? Because
Literally.
we did make a conscious decision when we started this new content to not go back to our old platforms, to not make it a Rack's Life production, a Crispy COYLE channel thing, 17,000, 10,000, whatever. We could have started with
15,000.
We started with 0, right? And so those of you that are with us now, this is like, that's new fam. Imagine me dapping. I'm doing like the dap and pull in, pulling you in, and like maybe there's a little pat on the back.
You guys are early on this.
So we thought maybe you would be curious to learn a little about us. And then not only that, one of the biggest or most repetitive compliments that we've gotten as a show is, wow, they've got great chemistry. Or like, I didn't realize that this duo would work so well.
Like we grew up together.
But we don't know each other that well.
I don't even know who he is.
We recently started hanging out just shortly before
we met 3 days ago
doing this show. I watched COYLE's videos. I think it's safe to say he watched mine back in the day. We followed each other. We, looked out for each other here or there in the game.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to get to know you, and it'll be cool to do it in front of this audience, which we assume is curious to get to know us. If you have decided you hate us, you don't know how you keep getting here.
Yeah, like you stumbled upon this by accident, and right now you are heated.
Then just go away. It's not going to be for you this week. We're not going to talk a ton of sneakers if, unless they end up in this little game that we're going to play.
And I heard there's a really good game of Manhunt going on 95 right now.
Yep.
Go play Manhunt on I-95.
Do that. If you're one of those guys that can't look away, just itching to hit the thumbs down button on YouTube, again, not your episode, bruh.
The herbs are out there in force.
But if you are one of those people like our Hall of Heroes, like those of you who feed the cast, like our friends and family who participate and share this show, I think you're going to really dig this.
Yes.
The way that we're going to do it, the format for this is going to be a 20-question style. 10 questions from me. I said 10 questions from me to COYLE. With 10 questions from him to me, we'll go 1 for 1. In what we're going to call...
Line for line.
What we're going to call, getting to know your host.
Oh, right.
20 questions.
On Playground Politics, we have the politicians you've come to know and love. We've got Crispy COYLE and Rad.
We've got great prizes like your chance to enter our Hall of Heroes by hitting that support button and potentially winning a mug.
That'll show them what we have.
That's all we have. And I'm not Vanna. Don't call me Vanna. We have somebody in the Hall of Heroes named George Kelly, and I made a joke that he could never fall in love with a woman named Kelly because then her name would be Kelly Kelly, and it was followed up by a DM telling a story of a man named George Kelly through fate was drawn to and fell in love with a Kelly.
And now her name is
Kelly Kelly.
Kelly.
And it's working out. So I apologize to George Kelly, our supporter.
Yep.
You may find love with a Kelly.
Yep. And shout out to the dude that sent me that, Press Piersky. What's up,
dude? Appreciate that was a fun exchange. Anyway, we're gonna get into this 1v1 question for question. COYLE, your first question for me. Let's start it that way.
Oh, yo, I'm gonna set this off right now like Terry Mulholland for the Phillies.
No doubt.
Yo, that was such a crazy throw out right there. People are like Mulholland.
Google.
All right. Okay, so Rack. If you know anything about Rack, you know that he's been in the shoe biz, as we call it, as us insiders call it, for many years. And I remember you used to work at a joint called Kicks on Fire, and I'm just wondering, why'd you leave, son?
Interesting story. So, getting into that first, I have to acknowledge that position or that opportunity was given to me by Jazzy Ray. So, an interesting thing that I realized shortly after you got that question out is that I was put on by Jazzy, and then before that, like my first social media, I'm a random dude with some sneakers in the middle of Pennsylvania too. I have thousands of followers, 10,000 followers, whatever. That first push, that was from Kixology.
Kixology, man. She's pretty big out there in the streets.
Yeah, so I have this interesting fact that I was put on not once but twice, and not slightly but significantly in the sneaker game by 2 women. And so I think that's really dope. When you consider the way that a lot of people think of this as a boys club, or a lot of people think that those girls who are into sneakers are only into sneakers because their boyfriends like sneakers or whatever. No, these were legit women in the industry with real power in their respective spaces who gave me an opportunity.
And genuine passion.
I will never talk about those opportunities without acknowledging that, because I think that's not only super interesting, but it's like contrary to what you might believe. And so dope there. Anyway, I worked for Kicks on Fire. When I took the position at Kicks on Fire, it was to write for Kicks on Fire. And my goal was to try to elevate the content they were doing. You know, at the time, sneaker blogs were big. Kicks on Fire as a brand was very big. And I saw an opportunity to be like, hey, let me try to elevate the content. I brought in Todd. Shout out to Todd. He's like a savant. He was like, one time Gary Payton tied his shoes a little bit to the left. And he would write these like really long form, like in-depth sneaker
so much info
dossiers, you know? And I was trying to write things that were opinionated, strong, wordy, well-constructed, and try to elevate the game. And so while I was doing that, Khan was a fan of that. Khan is the owner of Kicks on Fire. Shout out to Khan, a brilliant young dude, made a Forbes list. Like, this is a guy deserving of a lot of respect, a guy that I really like. When Jazzy left Kicks on Fire, he was like, hey, it's you and Juan run the show. You know, Juan had the pedigree, the experience of running a blog, and I had a vision that Khan was willing to support. So we went about it that way. And long and short of like me leaving is that I wanted to do those things that I thought maybe mattered. And I was attracting a reader of a certain pedigree. They were like respected, seasoned veterans of the game. But that game, blogging, vlogging, YouTube, etc., is a game that you win by captivating a young audience. And so
young man's game.
Khan was like, get them to click the title, get them to read the 5 sentences that we've copied and pasted from somewhere else. Trick the Google SEO was a big game. Free game here to anyone who's doing content. One of the ways in which you can game the Google SEO is by updating the same post several times. Add new photos. Here's an on foot look. Here's a change in the release date. Here's this minor change in the text. And what you're doing is you're teaching Google, hey, this thing is important. It's an important page that people are tuning back into, and so that helps the Google rating. And it became a game or a job of doing that. Okay. And I'm the kind of guy that no matter how good the opportunity, if you're not satisfied, you're happy. Yeah, if I'm not feeling creatively fulfilled, I'm out. And so it became a job of doing that. And so despite the opportunities that position afforded me, I was out like shortly after it became.
So you left on good terms, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I mean, I respect them doing what they do, the way that they do it. Okay. Not only that, in my new position, I work with the quote unquote sneaker press quite a bit, and they've continued to be supportive. So I think like vice versa, it's mutual respect.
I thought about you in the Half Baked movie where dude gets fired from the record shop and he's like, I'm not gonna do what everyone thinks I'm gonna do. Flip out, man. Who's coming with me?
That's so funny.
Who's coming with me, man? Jan. Thank you, Jan.
No, definitely left on good terms. Shout out to them. If you're still
out there,
if you're still sneaking sneaker snams, if you're still out there on the sneaker blogs, maybe see what they're up to. I honestly don't know what they're up to these days. Anyway, let's move into my question for you.
Here we go.
Fair warning as we get into this game.
I have no idea what he's gonna ask.
He doesn't know, and my questions are a bit deep. I want to get to know you. So here we go. What about being a part of this scene or lifestyle or culture, or whatever you want to call it, has meant the most, or what does it mean to you to be a part of this?
I think I fathom what you're trying to get at here.
Yeah.
All right. As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Okay.
No, but on the really real, sneakers have always been really important to me. Where I grew up in Mayfair, a lot of backyard basketball. The older dudes always had the fly kicks from delivering the Daily News, and I always looked up to them, and they always had like really cool kicks, and I always wanted to fit in. I always wanted to be a part of, like, my parents left when I was really young, and like I moved around a lot, and I always wanted to be a part of something, a gang, a core group, and I thought like sneakers like did that, you know what I mean? So like through my early life, I made it a priority to have nice sneakers. And then things happen in life, and addiction crept into my life. Here's where we get on a little serious tip.
Cool,
I lost everything. Like, I had a storage, like everything, all my sneakers, it took everything. I eventually came through the other side, and I got sobered up. And in that, you forget who you are. Like, I'll give you a little like side note. When you're into an opiate, the opiate becomes your sole focus. So little by little, you stop enjoying everything else. Movies, lasagna, women. God. Like, literally, it takes all of the things that you're hype about, and it kind of puts them to the side, and it makes this number one.
Not to make light of it, but on top of everything that a DARE program has taught you, on top of everything you've seen in Basketball Diaries, like DiCaprio going down on that dude, despite everything you saw in Requiem for a Dream, like Jennifer Connelly sharing that dildo, etc. Like, despite everything, like, you will also lose your love for lasagna.
Seriously, and without that, what is there?
That's tough.
But what it did was, when I got clean and sober, people, I would ask, like, what now? You know what I mean? I got a job, and Sandra Bullock has this movie called 28 Days, and she's like, when can I date again? And they're like, well, first you got to get a plant. And if the plant lives for 6 months, you get a dog. And if the dog lives for 6 months, then you can get a girlfriend. So I still have the plant, right? It's an aloe plant. My dog, his name was Jake. He passed away.
Shout out to that's a true. There's a gangster.
I miss my dog so much, man. He was the best dog I ever had, but he served his purpose, and I'm still single.
Nice.
So that right there goes to show you that not all things work into place. But as far as kicks go, when I got my job and I got my first paycheck, it was like burning a hole in my pocket, right? And normally, money wasn't money. It was just drugs that I had not bought yet. So like a $50 bill was not a $50 bill. It was $50 worth of drugs, right?
Right.
So I went to the Cherry Hill Mall, and I went into a sneaker store. I believe it was City Blue. And and I saw Air Max. They had the Pink Pack Air Max 1. They had the Lumberjack Air Max 1. The Polka Dot Air Max 1. And a couple pairs of Air Stabs that were really dope. And I bought 2 pairs. I got home, and I was just like looking at them like, man, like, I remember this. Like, this is familiar to me, right? I go and I get in this black hole of YouTube, and I see that there's other people that are like this. Because growing up, you're just that dude of your crew that's into kicks.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I didn't know, like, I believe that I'd been out of the loop. When you're in drugs like I was, you don't check the internet. You don't have a computer. Like, I was out of the loop, cuz, like, so I see it. There's other people like me, and I see Sneak Geeks, Franelations, DJ Dells, all these people that are making videos, and I'm like, yo, I could do this, I think.
Right.
So I started with my Fisher-Price camera, the flip camera. Who remembers the flip camera?
Dude.
Literally Fisher-Price level quality, right?
Yes.
And my first videos are awful. But what it did was it gave me something to do. Yeah. And eventually I started getting a little feedback, and you know, I'm not the greatest YouTuber, but for having...
Dude, your stuff was great.
But for having no editing, for having a terrible camera, no lighting, and literally just me talking, I ended up getting 15,000 subscribers.
That's fire, dude. So, a large part of that due to Jake, though.
My dog literally
was a celebrity.
Dude, he was such a good dog. Yo, I would be like, yo, jump up on the bed. He would hop up, and I would do full sneaker reviews, and he would just chill.
Dude, Jake, let's show him what's on paw.
Yeah.
That
yo,
was like my
he would
favorite
just let
bit.
me hold his paw and be like, yo, Gucci flips today. Titanium teeth, bulletproof collar out this Well,
I promise not to react to every answer because I imagine listening to that would be agonizing. But
right.
I do want to say that I'm very proud of you, bro.
Thank you so much.
That addiction is a part of, I think, everyone's life, certainly my life, my family's life. And you give me a lot of hope for the addicts in my life. I'm fully confident and trusting in you and building this with you, and I think that
so much
that speaks a lot. To how far you must have come. I got to admit, I don't know you from then.
Completely different person.
But you're a hell of a dude now, man. I'm super. I'm sure you were always a hell of a dude.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But like having overcome your demons is I'm super inspired by that. That's real dope.
Since February 19th, 2007.
Dude, you know what? Like, don't even comment anything else. Just congratulate my boy on that. That's the coolest thing either of us will ever do. So dope, dude. And congratulations on that.
All right, my question for you
Your
now.
question for me.
Okay. Do you remember a certain shoe or a certain, maybe even a brand or a certain, like, when did you know that you weren't like all the other kids that just got footwear to like protect your feet? When did you know, like, was there like a shoe on the wall that you looked up and you were like, oh, that's unbelievable?
Yeah, dude. So I'm blessed. My father was a hell of an athlete, and my father went to a Nike school.
He was Hulk Hogan,
and he's basically, dude, like a olive Italian Hogan, like non-racist Hogan.
Wow.
My dad was the only white guy in his entire high school. If he had a racist hair on his body, he'd be dead.
We wouldn't be here.
But anyway, he was a hell of an athlete, dude. Like the guy is a legend in his hometown and the surrounding towns. He's one of those like generational athletes. And so coming up, I played a lot of sports. I had a lot of athletic ability when I was in much better shape when I was younger, and I was at a size that was competitive. So basically all the way through high school. And then obviously, you know, people get too big, too competitive, too fast, and I was out. But in my whole life, I was in sneakers. So my father made the early decisions, Jordan 1, 4, 3, a 5 here or there. But I remember specifically going to look at the new Jordan and being excited in a way I had never been for the Aqua 8, seeing the Aqua
8. It was so much different than everything else, too.
It was wild at the time. Man. And it's funny because I don't want to tell this story, like I don't want to correct my childhood memory. I want to tell it how I saw it through those eyes. At that time, it was the Bugs Bunny commercial. It was the bright colors. The outsole of a Jordan 8 is just weird and cool in
Nothing
a way
else like it.
that there's just like to this day, it's the coolest outsole.
The chenille.
So the chenille patch is funny because, and again, I just don't want to correct myself. Young me thought that was a peace sign. I'm talking about the Jumpman and the Chanel. I thought it was. And so I like, this thing has straps and a peace sign and this cool out. I want this shoe. And it's the first one I remember like really wanting, really taking care of. And then also making it a point, like I styled that shoe. I straps all the way done. One strap up, straps undone. I wore it different ways, on and off the court. It was like the first Jordan that I was like, I favored off court. Anyway, that was a huge moment. And then again, I would say like I became a sneakerhead, I would say like 7th, 8th grade. So middle school. And that's just because those years for me, 95, 96, 97, are also like some of the greatest sneaker years.
Wow,
so we're talking about some of the best Air Max. We're talking about Penny One. We're talking about Foamposite. We're talking about Kamikaze 2. We're talking about Shacknosis. I mean, just really like all-time great
Stores
sneakers.
still look like that right now. That's how good that was.
That's how good a time period that was. And shout out to my friend Benny Palmieri. He's still in the scene, but him and I went to middle school together. You should follow him, by the way, like for what he's doing right now. But in middle school, if you can imagine, he was like the cool kid. And he was a very good friend of mine. We skated together, whatever. And I remember admiring his style at the time. And there was a conscious change. I became a sneakerhead inspired by him because I was making like what my parents wanted for me, like the one sneaker for basketball, one sneaker for back to school, and a pair of black Converse, and 3 polo t-shirts, 2 khakis, 1 pair of jeans was like not gonna fly anymore. Like, you know, I had gotten to that point where it was just like, and God forgive me for these style choices now, but it was like a pair of Jinkos, Airwalks. You know what I mean? What? Kamikaze 2, Benny Hardaway 1, and Scribe and Senate skate shirts, you know? It was hyper color t-shirts. But from then on, I was conscious of my style. I worked at it, and it was an important part of my life. So that would be my answer. Okay. Again, my questions are too deep here.
Just go for it, man.
Dude, what is a life dream of yours that you're either still aspiring or actively working towards?
All right. Growing up, I always obviously was into fashion, kicks, stuff like that, but making things my own. Like I was into graffiti growing up, art. So like I got the opportunity to do a bespoke for Nike. I made my own sneaker, Nike ID. Like I'm a fiend. But New Balance let my man Richie Roa, New Balance 365. They let him go over to Flimby, England and make a 1 of 1. They let him look at the stash of materials. They let him look at the process. It was a 35th anniversary over there in Flimby, and he was among like 8 people they let do this, right? And he deserves it. Like I'm not on his level with New Balance. Like I'm not on their radar, right? But like I would just love like a fraction of that love. You know what I mean? Like I just want to like, even in the US, I would love to go up to the Boston area and check out the factory and talk to the people and like maybe just let me peek into the materials and pick a couple out and like throw it on a silhouette and like maybe throw it up on the machine and see it get made and like maybe stitch my name into the tone and have it say 1 of 1 and then have my sobriety date and then also, like I already have it all planned out in my head.
Fire.
But I would just love to have a 1 of 1 and the experience more than the shoe. But that would be something that I really wish I could do.
Dude, that's dope. And the reason I think that's a great answer is because I really, truly believe that's something that you can achieve. If we keep at this, like we are only so many degrees of separation away from that. And I say that from experience. I didn't think I would cover the unveiling of the Chuck Taylor 2 the first time that shoe had been touched in 100 years. I didn't think I'd play basketball with Fomer Simpson at Dwayne Wade's house.
Oh, come on, wait, hold on, dude.
You know?
You can't just go to play, this one time I played 2-on-2 at Dwayne Wade's house. It was me and Dwayne versus Fomer and Haslam.
Pause on the flex. A shout out to my man Fomer.
Fomer Simpson.
Shout out to the edition in Miami who made that happen. But all those things to say, I think that's something you can and hopefully will achieve. I've got my 997 NB1, bro.
Ooh,
it's landing.
I'm getting racked into New Balance.
It's landing today.
Oh, I'm such a bad influence.
I think I did a really good job. Tune into my Instagram.com/
Can't wait to see
rackslife_. I'll definitely get some photos up. I hope I did a good, dude. I hope I do you proud.
We'll see. All right, next.
Let's see.
Okay. You have an option. There are 2 of them. You have to put one in the grave and bury it, the whole brand, everything, and the other one gets to flourish and live and be with us.
Okay, are we talking like current or are we including back catalog?
All right, listen, I know we can't do back catalog because it's too much and it's not fair because that back catalog is great. They have to stop producing new sneakers from today on.
Okay.
Nike and Adidas.
Oh, crap. I'm going to say Nike.
Okay.
I'm going to say that I'm saving Nike. Sorry. So if there's like a Nike fanboy out there that's like, can he seriously choose Adidas? No.
And no shot to either one. This is hypothetical fun stuff. You know what I mean?
You know, that's what I want to use the rest. I want my answer to be Nike, period.
Okay.
Because I don't, like, that's enough praise for them. I want to spend the rest of my answer saying like, R.I.P. Adidas in this hypothetical because, you know, and I want you to imagine like a black and white montage of the fantastic things that they've done. And I'm not talking about, dude, it's Sarah McLachlan. Tim Cook is directing this. and like a Apple Keynote black and white going through what they've really done. I'm not talking about the last couple of years. I'm not talking about Boost. I'm not talking about Yeezy. This is a classic brand that's been number 2 for a very long time. And the only reason they're number 2 is because number 1 is an absolute Goliath.
Juggernaut.
Dude, you know what I'm saying? Like, there is every football player in the world and there is Tom Brady, dude. There's like not much you can do.
Charles Barkley doesn't have a ring because of who?
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So shout out to Adidas. I'm not talking about the Boost era. I'm not talking about you newbies. I'm not talking about you fair weather temporary ass fans. I'm talking about when they had Kobe.
Cup Soul.
Dude, I'm talking about the Shell
American
Toe. I'm
series.
talking about Stan Smith. I'm talking about Lavers. I'm talking about
Run DMC.
shout out to the KB2, which I think is now known as the top 10 2010 that Antoine Walker and Kobe Bryant wore.
Ooh.
Dude, you don't know.
The rivalry high.
You don't know the respect that I have
Eric Emanuel killed that.
for Adidas. So even though my answer is to save Nike, lots of respect for Adidas. It's a terrible situation to be in.
All right.
I don't want to ever have to really make that choice.
No, and that's not going to happen.
Speaking of scary situations, my next question is, what is your greatest fear?
Okay, now I could go all the way Tales from the Crypt, like serious tearjerker fear. Or I could take this and say, like, imagine if you could never taste food. Like, imagine if your sense of taste went out the window, right? Imagine if, like, you go to the nicest restaurant, the food looks amazing, the texture's on point, you know what I mean? And you take a bite and it tastes like you were eating a piece of cardboard.
That is absolutely nightmarish.
No salt does any justice for it. Like, my grandfather used to put salt on salt, right? He would put salt. My grandfather would literally salt cereal. And I'd be like, Grandpa, like, what are you doing, cuz? And he would be like, you don't understand. My taste buds are 80 years old. You'll get there one day.
No, that's
And
terrifying.
I'd be like, wait a minute, you can't taste this? Is that why you do that? And he's like,
Terrifying.
Like, one time I came home and he had steak on the table and I was like, what is this? It was like a rock. I looked in the trash can and it had expired in like 1993.
Oh my God.
He found it in the freezer. He already ate his.
Dude,
Like, how do you not understand that this is completely horrid?
terrible.
Imagine that, but that's going to happen, dude.
All right. Well, there you go. Nightmares for you.
There you go.
I think I would give up every other sense
Yeah,
first.
Imagine that.
Like,
That's awful.
if I couldn't feel, I'll live. Dude, smell, get out of here.
All right.
Like, you know?
Yeah.
If I have to choose smell, see ya. I don't need to smell anything. Yeah. But taste, bro, that is terrifying. Your next question for me.
All right. My next one. Okay, if you guys aren't familiar with the guy to my right, okay? Rack is a whiz when it comes to producing videos. His
you,
editing
man.
skills are unbelievable, right? He made this video about just him riding a train. And I swear to you, it's one of the best videos you could watch. It's just him riding a train, and all he's doing is narrating it and just saying the things that he's doing. He's like, yeah, I grab a cup of coffee, right? And then I get on the train and I'm just chilling. And then I drive past 7th Street and I hop out and grab a gyro.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I'm making all this up, but if you want to check out a video
Not far off.
where editing is vicious, McTitious to the fullest, go watch this video. I don't know what it's called, but my question is, like, is that God-given, or do you wake up one day and know how to edit? Because I am terrible at it.
It's a two-parter. First of all, that video is called Trains if you are curious
Yo, go
to
watch
check
it,
it
dude.
out.
And I'm not even trying to hype the dude up, but
It's
good.
Thank
man.
you, dude. It's about my love for riding the train. Riding the train is honestly, as weird as it might sound, one of
Where
my
we
favorite.
live, part of life.
It's not only a part of our life, but it's one of my favorite things to do. It's one of the only times as an adult that I have to like just kind of check out and like really listen to music like I used to, like obsess over the intricacies of certain albums, or get deep in thought, or write in my notebook, or the train riding or taking the train is a choice I make often when there's maybe more efficient ways to get around, because it's really important to me. Not only that, I wanted that video to sort of be like I wanted to make Philadelphia really visceral in that video. So I hope that worked. I hope that you could like kind of feel the city.
Unbelievable.
Anyway, so to answer your question, I'm an artist by trade and by nature. So it's what I've always done for a living. And in school, it's like what got me by. I wasn't academic. And luckily for me, and I'm not saying this like from an arrogant space, I'm saying this as like a tested and proven thing. I'm significantly above average intelligence. So like I was able to coast through like the general American curriculum, you know? And so I really needed.
I'm a genius. It's cool.
Dude, it sucks that you're making me say it. Like literally though. So there's no way to fucking say that and not sound like a dickhead. But I needed sports and art to engage myself, like to get through those years, and not only that, to create normal opportunities, like to be able to go to college and do what you're supposed to do, you know, because I was like not gonna worry about geometry or whatever I was supposed to be doing. So anyway, thank God for art. That was a huge part of my life. It led that in my SAT, ACT score led to me being able to go to college, and I chose art college. And then it became the reality of like, oh, you can create really well, and you're very good at art, but how are you going to make money? And so one of those things, or one of the options in which you could be creative or artistic and make money regularly is to video edit. It's a skill that's in demand, and you can find jobs. So I got really into it. Shout out to Bart Capiano, my very first, and Midnight Breakfast is the name of his production company. If you want to check out his work, we did work together when I was in college, and that really encouraged me. And then, you cut your teeth like anything. Like as far as to learning the skill of it. You learn the tools, you practice. I really liked when I was first learning, like shooting the shots that I needed to construct and edit really compelling trailers for projects that I would never make. That was like sort of my vibe. So if you're looking for something like what can I do to practice? I would say that's actually a great exercise. But like anything that's artistic, you can learn the skills, right? Like anyone can learn to use a hammer and nails, right? And that's fine. And if you do, you can be a contractor. And so if you learn the skills and tools, you could be a video editor. To do it on your own, to strike, to do something significant, which is funny you bring up my YouTube, because my YouTube to me was always like bare minimum. Like it wasn't ever enough of a platform for me to like go all out.
And I'm going to take a second to not really like blow smoke up his ass. But like, let me just say that like at the time when Rack started making videos on YouTube, predominantly the type of videos were out were no cuts,
right?
Unboxings, raw, just like, this is the shoe,
iPhone 3GS video.
And then here comes this dude with like fully edited, the color is correct. The shot, like he's like a director of photography, and everybody just had to take notice because it was something different and it was dope.
I appreciate that, man, and I'm proud of it. I think that the
landscape is different.
I think that, and you need to be the one to say that. It sounds super weird coming out of my mouth, though. But I think that is true. I think that there was Rack's Life, and I think it's not even the Rack's Life that exists now. The channels that we're talking about. They're long gone. But what I think I can claim without being too challenged is that I came on the scene and it made everyone better.
It did.
And
content was better.
If you're enjoying the vlog style, the casual style, the instrumental versions of popular music, the color correction, the intros, the transitions, you're welcome. When I first came into sneaker YouTube, quote unquote, it was
different.
Very different. Yeah. But there were talented folks, and those folks I think are like I think they are better for it. I think
agree.
Shout out to former Simpson.
Buckets is vicious. Young Buckets,
dude,
what's up?
Shout out to Nightwing. Shout out to Jacques. It's funny because you might see that the card that runs before every video episode of Playground Politics is an ode to that era. It says Orange Circle, which was
Orange Circle Posse.
Dude, which was like a squad that we envisioned having at the time. It was like, what if I linked to Nightwing and Nightwing linked
Avengers,
to Jacques and
Voltron.
Jacques linked to Fomer, and we just tried to share and produce the best content in the space. And because at the time, I'm seriously on a tangent here, but like for the kids that tuned in years later, I think you guys need to know that that was not a respected platform that brands were engaging in.
No, they looked at us like
there was no opportunity or money to be made.
Yeah.
It was disorganized. It was a couple guys from Boston in their mother's basements opening Sauconys. It was in a weird spot. And I think what I deserve a small percentage of, and what that orange circle deserves a lot of credit for, was sort of like
next level,
getting it to par to become a real platform. And so, and there's other people, obviously, Bull, Tony, there's tons. I don't want to get into like, let's shout everybody out.
Right. But you know who you are, guys.
I am very proud. This is not even on the answer anymore about video editing, but I am very proud of that time and the platform.
It was fun
that
man.
It's become.
And it was genuine. Like there wasn't money to be made.
No.
The people that were making videos genuinely loved what we were making videos on.
I'll admit at the time I could foresee the platform it would become. I was trying to push it there. I was trying to get everybody organized. I was trying to be like, yeah, I get it. I get you just want to talk about your new kicks and unbox, but like, guys, we could do something. I did feel that way, but we were doing it anyway. Like we were so definitely genuinely doing that. Right. Anyway, shout out to, I said all of that extra to pay homage to that time and to highlight the people that you guys should be respecting and following in that space because they built it.
All right.
Who are 3 people who inspire you?
Wow. All right. This one's going to kind of come out of left field, but John Geiger.
My guy.
John Geiger, I don't know him personally, but from afar, I saw this dude's vision and I saw like the hustle that he put into it. He started off ordering Nike IDs and flipping them, right?
Right.
This is after the Zoom Revis, the help that he did with that and all that kind of stuff. And he tried to get in the door with Nike, and Nike, being the conglomerate that they are, they kind of gave him a little pushback, right? So what he did was he made his own lane, and I can't express how difficult that is.
Right.
To get a last, to get the mold, to get the production, then the packaging, boxing it up, the shipping. Like there's so many aspects, the advertising, and not only that, but to have a price point that is deserving to a product like that, and to have people actually lined up to pay for it.
Unbelievable.
To start off from ground zero and to make a product like that is really, really difficult. And I think that the work put into it is it's commendable. And I would, I think it's dope.
Dude, I need to just interject for a second, only because he's one of my best friends. So there's just one tag on I want to add, and that's something that I don't know that everyone knows about John. But he's also incredibly encouraging. And so like I want to just echo that he inspires me. And if you've seen something that I've done that you think is, particularly good or made some noise or whatever, I want everyone to know that it's at least in a small way touched by John. Like he's never like change this color or do this or whatever, but he's always like, if he sees it's good, he's encouraging in any way that he can be. He shares it. He gets on the phone like, bro, you need to make this happen. I'll help you make this happen. I'll pay for it to happen. I mean, obviously he's my best friend. He's not going to do that for everyone, but he's been so encouraging to me and a lot of people around him. Davin is creative and successful in his own way, but what they've been able to do together with Diet, all that stuff is he's just super inspiring. If for any reason you know who we are and you don't know who he is, tune in. There's a lot of inspiration to be found there. Do you have 2 more for us? Maybe even personal people in your life?
Yeah. One would probably be, I don't want to go into my best friend, his name is Pat Clemens, right? Him and I grew up in Mayfair. Both went down a similar path, and he eventually figured out what he wanted to do with his life, and now he's a fireman. And I love that he went after what he wanted, and he made it. You know what I mean? Like not to say that the journey's over, but I look at where he's at in life, and like you guys don't, a lot of you don't know who he is, but let's just say like he overcame a lot, and he's doing what he loves, and he's genuinely happy. He's spiritually grounded, and he's a great dude.
That's still so dope, though.
So I really look up to him, and even though we're like the same age, he was born like 4 days before me or something like that. But you know what I mean? Like I saw his the work that he put in, and you know what I mean? Like I want to be like that. You know what I mean?
That's fire, dude. Live. That's dope. And, one last one. I
would have to go if you want to go on a real serious note. Like I don't want to get too verklempt, but Mickey Mouse,
dude.
when you think about Mickey Mouse in the pantheon of mice,
second to none.
I mean, he wears those
Fuck
little
Fievel.
that little pants with the two little buttons. I think he revolutionized the double-breasted suit.
He did.
When you look at the two ears, like they might be the most recognizable thing in the world.
His ears.
You look at Disney World, Disneyland, like, you know how much cake he's caking off of the rip.
He's literally like, come to my house and pay me for it.
Pay me to come to my crib.
That's incredible.
You know, John Lennon was like rocking his shirt. Like, the dude is so influential.
He once cleaned a medieval kitchen through the sheer power of dance.
The Brooms took a look at his vision and they were like, yo, we got this.
We'll just clean up.
Yo, just fall
The
back.
bucket of soap suds was like, I'm in.
I mean, he's held Minnie down through many years. Like, the dude's gotta be, you know, the greatest husband of all time.
One vicious mouse.
Seriously. So I just want to say, like, and Donald gets out of pocket from time to time.
Dude.
Mickey just corrals that. He's got Goofy acting just wild, dude.
You've seen this as Goofy a cow or a dog?
I don't know. He's a habitual line stepper, though. That's all I'm going to say.
Thank God for Mickey Mouse.
All right, so Mickey Mouse is my third one. So John Geiger, my best friend Pat Clemens, and Mickey Mouse.
Great trio. I think all of which honored to be on the list with one another.
And all genuine because it's all off the top of my head.
That's amazing. Let's get into your next question.
My next question is...
More theme music.
Okay. Shawshank Redemption. A crime has been committed and you have just been... They think you did it, but you didn't do it, right?
Okay.
You're about to go to the gas chamber.
Okay.
You have one meal.
Oh my God.
I just went there like it was my job.
Dude, this is difficult as hell.
I knew that this was going to have you like all types of messed up.
It's going to be like, I'm glad that I don't have to worry about the stomach ache that it'll give me.
No, you can just go all out.
I want a mean chocolate milkshake.
Ooh.
Mean. Like, I don't even know from where. Like, there is not a brand and or chain that could make the shake that I'm imagining. Just imagine
the bombest
the
milkshake
most
ever.
Bomb chocolate milkshake possible.
Okay. I'm
then
seeing,
my
I'm seeing
mother's
the vision.
My mother's gavadils and broccoli.
Ooh, he went to the mom.
Then my one day to be father-in-law's split pea and ham soup.
I need to meet this guy.
Dude, because it is just killer. I forced this guy to eat a whole like ham hock on a bone to get that bone. Like I fucking...
Yo, we gotta eat this
dog. I fucking
dog.
feed it. He's like miserable. I'm feeding it to him. The fat of the ham gristling down his mouth. Like, thank God he's in his 60s and easy to pin down. I fucking feed him. I gotta get that bone for you to make me that split pea soup, dude. It's so bomb.
Okay.
And then I think, dude, this is gonna sound mad simple, but I think for dessert, I just want a simple ice cream sandwich, dude.
Wow.
Just real simple.
Now, are you going chocolate chip cookie or are you
No,
going
mad simple vanilla chocolate cookie.
Okay.
Just mad simple.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, and then put me out like a light.
Okay. I wasn't expecting that. You hit it right there, though.
I gotta say that would like thank God you're dying soon because that would be a vicious stomach ache.
It would be a fair one with the bathroom.
And I gotta take my time. Like I don't want all that coming out at once. Like because there's just I don't want any milkshake left in my mouth and when I'm my mom's gavadils
you gotta
and broccoli.
bring a novel in there.
You know,
Yep.
I gotta take my time.
All right.
Plus, like Jack, who's my future father-in-law, he's gonna need time to get through that ham. What is the singular piece that's streetwear or footwear
Okay.
that means the most to you? And I don't want to lead you here, but I have a feeling it might be like a Ralph Lauren piece. I just want you to get into whatever it is. Why?
Okay. I can't believe that it's this recent, but Ralph had a 50th anniversary collection, and they did like a wildlife motif. Now I'm not gonna go Snow Beach. I'm not gonna go, where everyone thinks I'm gonna go and flip it. No, I'm gonna go with it's a cardigan. It's a zip up. The materials. It's a really crazy like baby lamb wool, and it has this big crest on the front. It's a wildlife crest. It's got like deer overlooking, and it's a really dark blue and black. It's got reds and greens. It's super comfortable. You would think it's itchy, but it's not. and it was really expensive. It was like $600-700. I got it for a very good deal. It was enough that I could see paying that, and I can't wait to wear it. Unfortunately, I got it at the end of the season, but next year I am going to be cracking neck gristle like it is my absolute duty in life.
Listen, guys, that was your fifth question to me?
Yeah.
I'm going to get a fifth question to you.
Yep.
Because of time,
I thought 5 would be perfect.
I think we're going to cut it there. But if you want to see another 5, we're prepared to do that. We won't do that directly in the next episode.
Right,
I think
but
that'd be a bit much.
This could be like a segment.
It's one of the times that you need to let us know if you want to either submit questions yourself or see us do another 5. Definitely let us know in the comments, in the feedback, on the tweeters. Tweet us.
Yeah, let us know what the deal is.
My last question for you, and then you can give me one more, and then we'll call it a day.
Well, actually, it's my turn.
Is it your turn?
Yeah, because I just did the
Okay, that's perfect.
Okay.
You do me pause.
Okay.
And then I got one for you.
All right.
Then
ready?
it's a wrap.
Okay, here we go. Okay, I want to get a good one here.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
Ken Kenneth from Connecticut, automated piece of shit.
Yeah. All right, you walk into Flight Club.
Okay.
Now, Flight Club is known as like the crazy overpriced, not overpriced, but kind of overpriced. A little bit. Mm-hmm. You can go in, but they have every sneaker ever made, and they are all $1. What do you buy?
Wow, dude! You know what I hate about this? Mine is so recent. I hate this.
Really?
You have to keep in mind, and the audience, I get the audience out there doesn't know. I think maybe you know. I know my close friends know. Anyone who's been to my house knows.
I know where you're going.
I have like 1,100 pairs of shoes.
I know where you're going.
So there's a wide gamut there.
Okay.
Anything that you're thinking at home, aside from maybe the undefeated 4, I probably have. No flex. I don't flex. Like if you go through my Instagram, I'm not flexing all the hype stuff.
By the way, I need the Cactus Jack 1s in a size 11.5 or 12. Please help me. Thank you.
Anyway, I'm going to go with the Union in blue. The Union 1 blue, John. Yeah, I did not get that. Nobody even offered to help because they were going to be so valuable. Like everyone that I know, I could not get that shoe.
Wow. All right.
That's the one.
Okay.
And that's the one that's really missing. Like I said, like
no, it's fire.
I know
it is a fire shoe.
It's a fire shoe. I think it will go down. Like I think it will remain fire throughout time.
It's
like
not
I think
going to go down.
It's not going to. It's not like you know when we thought whatever was hot. Like when we thought whatever Volt LeBron 10 Elite was.
that was not a good move.
That was not a good time, right? This one will stay good, so I feel confident in that answer. And like I said, I probably like no flex zone, but I probably have whatever your answer is, you know? So that's one that I missed recently that I need.
Okay.
Last question in this. Again, if you want to see like a part 2 of this, a couple episodes down the line, or you're like, yo, chill with asking each other shit, we've got questions for you.
Yeah.
Let us know
really
let us know in the if you don't comment, we're not doing it because that just means like you didn't care enough. We'll do other episodes.
No, I'll take my ball and go home right now.
Okay.
Okay.
One of the two things will happen. We will quit altogether or we will never do another one in this format unless you comment. All right. Last question.
Okay.
What are 3 goals that you have for this podcast? Just you. Don't take anything that I've ever said on or off camera. Just you. What do you want for this podcast?
I want to, number 1, be Joe Rogan.
With a passion.
I don't know how that's going to happen. But somebody needs,
mind over matter.
Somebody needs to get up there and just go at it. You know what I mean? Yeah, so that's number 1. Number 2 would be to have this podcast enable me to travel a little bit.
Let's do it.
I would love to travel.
Can I interject there real quick because that's a common goal, but it's a little bit bigger than that for me. My vision for this podcast is for this podcast to do things that podcasts traditionally can't. Like whether you're a king, an expert, a wizard savant of content, a Joe LaPuma, or you're fucking Derek at home and you hate me and you hate this podcast and you just don't think I could do anything. Fuck you.
Son of a bitch.
either of those two people and everyone in between probably thinks you can't do an unboxing on a podcast, probably thinks you can't vlog on a podcast.
I beg to differ,
I
son.
think those things may be difficult, but with a press of a button on this console, I can play you the audio from a vlog that we intentionally filmed to be very descriptive, etc. / you can always go to the YouTube, hit subscribe, and whenever you hear anything on the audio, know that there's a video accompaniment, right?
Okay.
Also, I think that with your gift of gab, right, and my access to products / some sponsors, unboxing could be kind of cool here.
Yeah.
So anyway, long story short, don't think, if you're out there in the ethos like, can I create an opportunity for these guys? Shout out to you. You're fucking awesome.
I see where your head's at.
You're fucking awesome.
You know?
But yes, you can create opportunities for us, and you should think of us outside of what you believe currently a podcast is capable of. And if you're like, why should I? You know, like, yeah, sure, of course you want to be able to do whatever you want to do. No, dude, you should bet on that because, and I'm just going to say it, I'm of that pedigree. I am the dude that pushes the boundaries of particular mediums. So challenge me, dude. Like, give us an opportunity to travel, to come out to your event, to cover a press event, to try to do an interesting thing with product, even over audio. I agree. I concur on that. First, let's get 2 more goals that you might have for this podcast. So, Joe Rogan is dead.
One more.
We're gonna Joe
Travel
Rogan
all over the world. Okay.
Let's do it.
And the third one would be probably to find my niche in life. Maybe I haven't found it yet. Maybe my career is still out there somewhere.
That's dope.
Maybe I can kind of, finagle my way into being like a personal stylist for a really swagless billionaire, a super hot supermodel that, I could be like a cabana boy for Swedish tropic models or something like that.
Or even just a sugar baby.
Something like that. Yeah, if you're a lady of the evening out there, and your husband just cheated on you with like a 19-year-old swimsuit model, and you're looking to just blow a few dollars on a young stud.
But yeah, like your husband cheated on you but it's cool because you were already an established independent woman with a multi-million-dollar salary, and you also got half of everything because you guys were married in California.
Oh, you got him good.
Just pick up Crispy like you would
Seriously.
a Starbucks.
Seriously, because I will worship you at the altar of your bedroom.
Or if you want to join our Hall of Heroes.
Ooh. You like that transition right there? The transition master at work.
I got to say, our Hall of Heroes does afford us the ability to dream that one day this podcast may support us semi-completely.
Okay.
It could become our singular focus with enough support from people like Kenny Durand.
My man Ken.
Alex Rondo, new to the Hall.
My man Alex.
Pat, we already know Pat, he opened up the show with that message. Again, if you want to leave us a message to include in the show, you go and download the Anchor app, and you will see when you search Playground Politics that there is a button to submit a message to us. Javier.
Logan J. Bays.
Dude, we got Joseph Q.
Okay.
Joey Q.
Is that Joey Jacobs?
Dude, it is, in fact. We've got Joey Jacobs, we've got Matt Stone. Stoney's new.
Okay, Stoney.
Cody Glaze.
Cody?
Of course, we got Evan. I was calling it Inheem. It's his Irish. I probably butchered the pronunciation. It's just Evan. He let me know. We got Cody Pierce.
Okay, Cody.
And George Kelly, dude. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, I hope this episode with no sort of sneaker talk and whatever, dude, we're unconventional already in our third episode.
Being this greasy isn't easy, you know what I mean? It's the politicians up here doing the thing.
If you like this, let us know you like this. You do that by hitting the like button, by driving a comment. No, by dropping.
Driving?
By dropping leaving a comment, by hitting subscribe on YouTube, by favoriting or whatever the hell you do on any of the other podcast platforms. Yo, seriously, if you are one of the majority who are on Apple Podcasts consuming this, please take a moment, pull over. I imagine you in a car. Pull over, make sure your family is safe, put it in park, and then rate and leave a comment.
And do one thing
that's very, very, very important.
If your dog is in the room right now, give your dog a treat, right?
Yep.
Tell him that he is all that.
All that.
Give him a hug and just enjoy him take him on a walk. Let him go see what's going on outside. Let him go holler at the bitches next door. You know what I mean? Because like my dog, he did his thing. You know what I mean? Let your dog do theirs.
Shout out to everyone in the Hall of Heroes. Everyone, like I want to make a point about that. We will always highlight the Hall of Heroes. They financially support the show, and that is dope in a way that like I can't even tell you.
They're buying the coffee right now.
We love that type, but we also love everyone who's just hitting like, who's just sharing, who's just copying, pasting, feeding the cast in that way, retweeting the clips, doing those sort of things. You guys make all of this possible, and you will be the people who determine if other people are going to hear about the show, tune into the show, and have the ability to share the show themselves. So without you, literally, we would be talking to ourselves, which we do the whole rest of the day. So thanks for making this hour. Get out there and get around. We appreciate you guys so much. That's Playground Politics
Signing
for this
off.
week. Let us know if you want a part 2 of that whole little conversation, or if you want to ask us questions of your own, or if you want to never hear about us ever again, or if you want us to just make up questions and pretend that we're other people and answer them as those other people.
I'll answer as anybody.
No problem. Thank you guys for tuning in once again.
Coyle.
Share it. My name's Rack. That's Coyle. It shouldn't be too confusing anymore.
No, you know who we are.
See you next week.
Bye.